My name is Giselle Townsend, and I just want to welcome you to my YouTube channel. I just want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. The name of my channel is My Salvation Story. What is my channel about? My channel is about sharing with you how I came to Christ. It is about sharing with you how Jesus Christ delivered me from a life of sin. I believe my story is a unique one, and it is worth sharing with the world for the glory of God. I also believe that I am at a place where I am comfortable to share. I am not afraid. I am not embarrassed to share with you what Jesus Christ delivered me from. He has delivered me from sin, from possession, demonic possession, from oppression and suppression, and so many things. And I'm just excited to share with you how I was delivered. It is not my intention or my desire to make anyone look bad, but it's just to show the power of God at work in my life. I know and understand that there are times when you are doing the will of God, others will be offended, but that is okay, because guess what? I cannot please everybody, right? So I just want to share with you my story of how I came to know Jesus Christ as my personal Lord and Savior. It is my sincere prayer that you will be blessed by what I will share on this channel. So before I get into the story, I just want to share with you that today is my baptism anniversary, the 24th of December. 4 years ago, on the 24th of December, I got baptized. And I am so excited that, I am celebrating 4 years today. God has been amazing. He has been good. He has just blown my mind, and he continues to blow my mind. And so my salvation story started 4 years ago while I was attending university. I was actually in my final year. I was in a relationship at that time, but my boyfriend, he wasn't living in Jamaica. He was living overseas. And I remember that during that time, he came to visit me. Well, he traveled to Jamaica for 2 weeks, and we spent that 2 weeks together. And I remember clearly the day before he left, we were at home together, and he had some weed, and he said, I'm going to make some tea with it, because he couldn't he couldn't smoke all of it at once because it was a lot of weed, and so making the tea was easier. He made the tea, he poured a cup for himself, and while he was there drinking it, I said to him, can I taste it? And he said okay. I took a sip, just one sip of the tea. And after a while, I remember I was there, and I started to feel this kind of weird, strange feeling. I felt I was lying on the bed, and I felt as though I was floating in the air. I felt light. I felt as though my thoughts, they were all over the place. It's like I couldn't control my thoughts. They were just running all over the place. And I started to panic. And I was like, can you pray for me, because really and truly in that moment, I really, really felt as if I was going to die. And the only thing I could do in that moment, only thing I did at the time was I started to pray, and I was calling out to Jesus, and I was like, Lord, it was kind of a moment of repentance in my heart, and I was asking my boyfriend to pray for me, because in my mind, I am going to die. And While I was there, we realized that it was the weed that was causing me to react this way. It was having the reaction on me. And I grabbed my towel, I grabbed my purse, I was dressed appropriately. I ran downstairs, I went out on the road. I started stopping the cars and I was like, take me to the hospital right now because I'm going to die. My boyfriend was right there. He was really, really worried. I remember, the next day he's leaving the next day and we don't know what to do, we're not sure what's going to happen. And so this car was out there, this taxi driver was out there, and he asked what's wrong, and I explained to him what happened, and he said okay, he's going to take me to the hospital. Upon arriving at the hospital, this nurse approached me and I was explaining to her what's happening to me, and she was so calm about it. She didn't act as if it was an emergency, and I was like, in my mind, why is this woman behaving like that? Can't this woman see that I'm going to die? She's so relaxed and she's so calm. This woman don't take this case seriously. And she said to me, you need to register first. And I was like, miss, how can I register? I need to see the doctor right now because I am going to die. And she said, no, you have to register before you see the doctor. And I said, okay. I went ahead and I registered. And I can tell you, while I was there, I was talking foolishness. I was losing my mind. I was talking things that didn't make sense at the time. I was talking slow because I was trying to gather my thoughts. Is that my mind was just all over the place. I could not think straight. I was moving in slow motion. I don't know, I was scratching my head. In that moment, I think I experienced what a madman goes through on a daily basis. And I was scratching my head. I was talking slow. I was moving my mouth in slow motion. And I remember saying to my boyfriend, you cannot stay with me now because I don't want you to get in trouble because it's weed and you're leaving tomorrow, so you need to go far as you can from me so that they don't see you. He didn't agree with it, but we weren't sure of what would happen, so we tried to be safe as much as possible. And so I remember I was there, I waited for hours. Like I went there maybe around 12 o'clock or 11, 12 o'clock, and I saw the doctor around 5 o'clock. By the time I saw the doctor, everything went off. Like I was back to normal. I was talking to the doctor, and I explained to him what happened, and all he said to me was, don't do it again. And I said, okay, doctor, I'm not going to do it again because clearly this thing is not for me. I only took a sip of the tea, and it had that reaction on me. And I remember we went home, and it was kind of a quiet moment. It was really quiet, and we were there reflecting, just thinking about it, because really and truly it was very serious. It was a serious moment. It was a life and death situation for me, and I was just there reflecting. And I remember that night, my boyfriend and I, we sat and we were talking, and he said to me, let's get married. Let's get married and let's go into church. Let's go and serve God. And I believe that night it was the Lord that was speaking through him, because those words meant so much to me. I needed to hear those words. And I believe those words convict. It gave me, that was my conviction. Those words were my conviction that night. And that night when he said, let's get married. Because really and truly for me, I always wanted to serve God. And in my heart, I always say, even to my friends, I will say, I don't want to serve God unless I am married. No, I know that if I give my heart to the Lord and if I'm going to get married, I cannot live with any man. I have to wait, right? Because I am a Christian. And I did not want that. I wanted to live with the man first. I want to get to know the man, and I don't think I will be able to find out his dirty ways, his bad attitude if I don't live with him. And so my thing was that I have to live with the man first. And if I am a Christian, I cannot live with the man. So I wanted to get married before going to church, before I give my life to the Lord. And the Lord knew my heart. He knew my plans, my thoughts, my desires, and He spoke to me, and those words convicted me. And that night I made up in my heart that I am going to serve the Lord. And I just want to interject this right here. The Lord knows what we need. He knows how to bring us to Him. The Bible tells us that it is the Spirit of God that brings us to Him. We cannot save anybody. We can allow ourselves to be used by God to minister to others, to share the word, but it is the Spirit of the Lord that works on the heart and convict that person to serve the Lord. And so that night, I believe the Spirit of the Lord convicted me through those words, and I took those words seriously. I started going to church after that, and even that same night my boyfriend and we prayed the salvation prayer, and that night we said, from tonight we are saved and we are serving God. The following day, as I would have mentioned before, that he was leaving and he left, I started going to church after that. We were still in a relationship. We communicate over the phone. But he didn't have what I had at the time, because I was not going to church. I was surrounded by young Christian people, young adults who were very passionate and hungry and thirsty for the Lord, and that inspired me. But he didn't have that, and so it was a struggle for him. But not running ahead of myself, I gave my life to the Lord. And I remember a couple weeks after giving my life to the Lord, I went to Westmoreland. A couple weeks after giving my life to the Lord, I went to Westmoreland because that's where I grew up. And now I am so excited to share, my salvation story with my cousin, because we grew up together, and he is a Christian, and so I'm saying, all right, I'm going to share the story with him and all of that. And I remember when I went to Westmoreland and I was talking to him, and I was like, I give my life to the Lord. His response was, he's no longer going to church because he doesn't believe in God. God is not real. And like, what? Like, this was shocking to me. This was a surprise. And he's like, yes, God is not real. They have been lying to us, and all kind of things. And that week I spent about a week in Westmoreland, and I sat and I listened to him. He fed my mind with all of those stories, all of his arguments and reasoning. And I said to myself, but why, if I had known this before, I wouldn't have gotten baptized. Why didn't I know this a week earlier? And in that moment, I felt so confused. And I remember somebody from Facebook who saw my baptism picture. He reached out to me. He had reached out to me before and said, congratulations on your baptism. And I said, thank you. And now a week after, he's asking me, how is your baptism journey going? How is your Christian journey going? And in that moment, after hearing all of that, that God is not real, it's all a lie, I felt so confused. I felt deceived. And I explained to him what I was feeling, and he said to me that he felt like that. And he met somebody who answered all his questions. And he said to me, the person is on Facebook. He said she's on Facebook. And I'm like, okay. Not knowing this man was going to create a group with me, him, and the young lady, he went ahead and created a group. He didn't say, I'm going to create a group. Do you want to be a part of it? Or would you like me to create a group and add it to it so we can have a conversation and she can help you? He didn't do anything like that. He went ahead, he created the group, added me to the group. I just see a message coming, hey Giselle, I heard you're confused about the Bible and you have some questions. And that was when I realized that he actually went ahead and created a group. And I said to her, yes. And she said, okay, you can ask all the questions. You can ask me the questions and I answer them as best as possible. And I said, okay. And I remember I asked her a few questions and she answered. And she messaged me directly. And she was prophesying to me, but she was talking about my boyfriend. She was saying the relationship that I'm in, the Lord doesn't want me in it. The Lord wants me to serve him before marriage. And I'm like, I am serving God before marriage because I am not married and I gave my life to him. I got baptized. And she was saying some other stuff. And I started seeing these persons as my spiritual guide or mentors. I started to develop a kind of trust for them, and anything that I'm not clear on, I would ask them and they would answer me. So guys, I am going to stop right here. I am not going to give you everything at once. My story, it is long, it is unique, it has a lot of aspect to it, so many things happen. And so I don't want to give everything to you at once. I'm doing it in parts, and this is part 1. Part 2 is on its way. But I want you to like this video, I want you to subscribe to the channel, I want you to share it, and I want you to hit the notification button so when I upload part 2, you will be notified. Thanks again for taking the time to watch this video. Until next time, bye bye.